The US is facing the biggest crisis since 1945, and Washington is sounding the alarm. On 20th of March 2003, the United States accused Iraq of having nuclear weapons and used that as a pretext to invade the country. The United States spent over $3 trillion just to flex its muscles, only to find out that Iraq did not have nuclear weapons. In 2008, when the US economy completely collapsed, the Federal Reserve jumped in to save the US economy by printing trillions of dollars. The US dollar was so powerful that it was very easy for the US government to easily borrow trillions of dollars from the public and save it from any crisis. But in February 2025, the United States started a full-blown war against Iran when Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. Instead of spending $3 trillion to invade Iran and open the Strait of Hormuz by force, the US was forced to accept all Iran's demands just to put an end to this war because the United States and its allies were running out of oil. And the reason behind that is this graph. The US national debt has crossed 120%. Now, at first, it doesn't actually seem like a big deal. What is the problem when the debt-to-GDP ratio has crossed 122%? But when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, suddenly realize that the US debt-to-GDP ratio today is as much as it was during the peak of 1945. The only difference between now and then is that during that time, the United States was going through the largest crisis in its history, and it needed to borrow trillions of dollars to fight that war. In the last 30 years, the United States did not face any kind of a major war, and yet the US government has borrowed trillions of dollars and created the largest debt in the history of the United States. At first, it doesn't seem like a big problem. What is the problem with the debt when the total GDP is rising on the other side? Despite having the global reserve currency, the cost of borrowing for the United States right now is much higher than it has ever been. The benefit of having the global reserve currency was that the United States could borrow money much cheaper than the rest of the world. And that means that you can borrow more money than any other nation. You will take that money, throw it into your economy, and your GDP is going to grow much faster than other GDPs. And when you have a much larger economy, it basically means that you can fund the world's largest military and continue controlling the world. When you control the global financial system, you dictate the rules of the game. But that has fundamentally changed. The 10-year treasuries in Germany right now are less than 3%, while in China, they are less than 2%. In fact, to be more precise, they are about 1.7%. But if you compare the exact same debts, in the US, it's about 4.5%. In other words, China, that doesn't actually have the global reserve currency, is borrowing money at a much cheaper rate than the United States, that is borrowing money at 4.5%. Here's the question. What is the point of having the global reserve currency when you're borrowing money at a much higher rate? That is happening because the world is worried. The world does not believe that the United States will ever pay off that debt. And it's true, the United States never plans to pay off that debt. But because that debt is already so huge, the United States has to continuously refinance that debt if it does not want to default on that debt. But that has not been the case historically. If we go back to pre-2022 level, the average cost of borrowing for the US government was less than 2% or about 2%. Back in 2020, when the global economy was growing through one of the largest crises in the 21st century, the rest of the world was easily buying the US debts because if there is anything that was certain about the global economy, it was the US economy. Everyone knew that the US economy is going to survive. So the rest of the global economy was massively buying the US treasuries to the point where the interest rates were almost 0%. But right after that, by 2023, the US government was already paying about 5% in yields to borrow money, which is significantly higher than all the periods right after the 2008 financial crisis. Of course, the numbers were slightly higher pre the 2008 financial crisis, but during this period, we did not have something that is called quantitative easing, which is direct printing of money. And all of this is creating a massive problem for the United States, at least at this point. The point of having the global reserve currency was that you can borrow money at a much cheaper price, but the cost of debt has significantly risen for the US government, to the point where the US government last year has paid almost $1 trillion in interest payments, and this is just the beginning because the situation is getting a lot worse. If you look at the total national debt and the projection over the last 10 to 20 years, you can see that number is skyrocketing. If the total debt to GDP ratio during World War II was around 115%, today that number is projected to grow to 250% by 2056. I know that sounds like 30 years from now, but you can see that number is compounding each year, and from now onwards, this number is literally rising faster than ever. And that's the nature of debts. When you borrow money at first, it doesn't actually seem like a big deal. Over time, you start borrowing more money, and your debt is compounding behind the scenes. And there is a political problem that not a single politician wants to take that responsibility on his shoulders. Nobody wants to pay off this debt. Because if you're the president of the United States, you want to be the best president of the United States. You want to spend money and let the GDP grow. The moment you start raising taxes, suddenly there is a problem. The GDP starts slowing down. People will have less money on their pockets, which means that they're no longer going to vote for you, and you might not become a president for a second term. If we assume for a moment that the yields on the US debts will be around 3.1%, then the interest payments within the next 10 years are going to cross $2 trillion. Imagine for a moment that you're paying so much taxes, and yet instead of taking those taxes and building roads and schools and generally just building the infrastructure of the country that is falling down, the US government has to take that money and make interest payments. And the more that number is going to rise, the more riskier the US government is going to be, which means that the higher the yields that investors are going to ask if they want to buy the US treasuries. So this number can easily accelerate to 4%, maybe even 5%. So if the national debt will cross $50 trillion by 2030 or 2032, and the average interest payments rises to 5%, that is already $2.5 trillion annually. The total revenue that the government is raising from taxes is about $5.5 trillion. So $2.5 trillion is literally almost 40% of the entire government's revenue that the government is generating from taxes. So the debt and the deficits are so large that there are not enough buyers on the other side. This would not be a problem if there were enough people on the other side who are willing to buy the US debt. But we are in a position right now that the US debt is so large that there are not literally enough buyers. Countries across the globe, instead of buying US debt, they're literally selling US debt. Back in 2013, the total US debt that was held by China was about $1.3 trillion. Today, that number is below $800 billion. And the Chinese government has already issued a warning to its banks to reduce their dependence on the US debt because the Chinese government does not believe that it's a good investment. And they're doing that for a very good reason. Now, the same thing is happening all across the globe, especially after Trump announced this trade war across the rest of the world. Now, global investors have less confidence in the US economy, in the US government. What is the point of holding so much US treasuries when the United States is unleashing all of these trade wars with every single nation in the world? And if the US debt grows much faster than the rest of the global economy, there will simply not be enough money in the world to buy so much US debt. And if there is not enough demand for US debt, then suddenly you'll start offering higher and higher yields in order to force people to sell their stocks, for example, to buy your debts. And what makes the entire situation even worse is that if you look at the last 20 years of the US economy, every single time the US economy was going through a crisis, the US government borrowed trillions of dollars, just like in 2003 when the United States started the invasion of Iraq, or in 2008 where the United States faced the Great Recession, or in 2020 when the global pandemic forced the United States to close its borders and print trillions of dollars to save the economy. Here's the question: when another crisis is going to happen, and it's going to happen sooner or later, The United States simply does not have the capacity to print trillions of dollars to save itself, just like it did in previous crises. And that's why instead of starting a full invasion of Iran, the United States simply accepted all Iran's demand because we simply can no longer borrow so much money to start this war. If the Federal Reserve will end up raising the interest rates by the end of the year, as Kevin Warsh has hinted in the last press conference, that means that the cost of refinancing suddenly rises for the US government. So instead of paying $1.1 trillion in interest payments this year, it could rise to $1.2 trillion, maybe $1.3 trillion. And if that inflation is going to be persistent, then next year that could rise to $1.5 trillion. Now, technically, it shouldn't be a problem for the United States because the United States is the creator of the US dollar, which means that the Federal Reserve can simply print US dollars and buy all the US treasuries if there is no enough demand for the US treasuries globally. But here's the problem. Every time the Fed does that, the Federal Reserve is literally printing money and throwing it into the economy, which is directly increasing the supply of US dollars in the market, which means that there is going to be more inflation. And that's exactly what happened in 2020. The vast majority of the US treasuries back in 2020 was purchased by the Federal Reserve, which is why we saw an insane inflation in 2022, 2023, and that inflation is still persisting until today. So this debt crisis is putting the United States between two very terrible options. Option number one, face a terrible hyperinflation where the value of the dollar evaporates. Option number two, keep spending trillions of dollars of US taxpayers just to maintain the debt that you cannot possibly maintain. How the US government is going to fix this problem, nobody knows for a fact. And that's why it is far more important for you to start investing and building your own wealth. Because the next moment, the US government will tell you there are not going to be any more Social Security payments or Medicare payments because the US government has to pay its interest payment obligations. That's why if you want to start investing and you want to know what are the top 5 stocks you should be buying right now that are going to get you to financial freedom, then join the Investing Academy. And if you use the link in the description of this video, you will be able to join the Investing Academy completely for free.